Are you struggling to keep your plants consistently watered in your greenhouse or your polytunnel over the summer months? If so, this video's for you. At this time of year, I'm really struggling to keep all the plants inside this greenhouse well watered. Some days I can't get down to the plot, I can't get to the greenhouse, and I can't water. And I'll come down after 2 or 3 days and the plants are really suffering. So I've made the decision, the solar watering system is going back in. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to install it, what you need, and I'll even give you all the links in the description below if you want to purchase one as well. They will be my Amazon affiliate links. So anything you purchase using that link, I'll get a few pennies towards my channel. So let's jump straight in and I'll show you what's going on. Your greenhouse probably looks something like this at the moment. We've got lots of tomatoes starting, lots of nice green ones. We've even got some starting to go red. We've got cherry tomatoes, we've got moneymaker tomatoes, we've got tumbling tomatoes, we've got all kinds. Down here we have the melons. And in amongst them, we have something really special this year, which are known as the cucamelons. These are very thirsty, so I have to keep these plants really, really watered. And coming down to the bottom, we have the cucumbers. Again, very thirsty plants, so I need to make sure that they stay well watered this time of year. That's ready. I'll be taking that one home today. But these tomatoes really, really do need to make sure that you keep the watering consistent. Obviously making sure that you don't underwater, but even more importantly, that you don't overwater. Last thing you want is after all your hard work, you allow your plants to dry out and eventually they will wither and die. So let's start off with the basics. First of all, you need a water source. I've just filled up a water butt, which will do absolutely perfectly right next to the greenhouse. So that will feed the plants from the water butt. Next to it here, and this is what you get provided in the kit, this is the solar pump. So the solar panels charge the batteries inside, and that then allows the pump to work 24 hours a day or however often you have it set. I've got it set so it waters every 3 hours for a maximum of 2 to 3 minutes each time. So the plants will stay consistently watered, but not overwatered, and it will be nice and eco-friendly, not wasting water, and obviously using the sun's rays to power it. So that's been attached on simply with a screw through the top, and this is pointing in the best direction for the sun. Okay, so this particular model is by Irrigatia. It's the C24 model, meaning there's 24 drippers attached to this, meaning it can water up to 24 different plants. So as mentioned, this is the solar pump. This is getting charged via that solar panel. Now, I did buy this last year. It worked perfectly all year round. So I packed it away nicely, stored it over the winter and the spring, and now put it back up again. So this is now to test if it's still working as it should do a year on. So first things first, it does come with a little syringe and a little tube, and it says you've got to flush it out. So I'm just going to fill this up. There we go. That's now filled with water, and it says to just flush it through by attaching underneath to the inlet. Okay, hopefully you can see that. That's going into the in. That's marked in and out on the other side. So hopefully, if I now squirt the water, it should come straight out. And it did. So that's flushed it through nicely. Take that off again. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. That's the in and the out. This is what I attached last year. So this is actually what goes into your water butt. As you can see, that's got some mesh on it, so it's almost like a filter system that sits on the bottom of the water butt. It has got marbles inside to weigh it down, but I just attached a rock on last time, but I felt like it sometimes was rising up in the water, so that just helps weigh it down. And because this is the inlet, here it is, this is, now we've flushed it through, we can attach that exactly where the where it's marked in. That's gone on nicely. And then we just pop this inside the water butt, and that can now just float down to the bottom. Not sure if you can see that, but that's sitting on the bottom of the water butt now. Plenty of water for it to draw up when it switches on. And then here is the tubing which goes on the out, and this is actually what will water the plants. So that goes right next to it. So one draws the water in, and the other one, that just pushes on quite nicely. One brings it in, and the other one pushes it back out again, all going through this solar pump system. The final thing we need to put in, this is the sensors. So this actually warns the unit if the water butt is getting low on water. So as you'll see, one's lower than the other. One of them sits in the bottom to sense that there's water down there. But if the water drops to a couple of inches from the bottom of the water source, it will send off an alarm to say we are low on water. And I think it then actually gets ready to stop pumping, so it's not just pumping dry or no water around, wasting the battery and the motor. So with this, you've got to measure this slightly so that one sits on the bottom and the other one is 2 to 3 inches off the bottom. So I do need to link that up. What I do normally do is put the lid on this water butt, and then I just attach it so that it's being measured properly. So I need to, probably easiest way to do this is just measure against the side. So that's about the bottom down there. From here, and I'll just drop that in, but I'll connect that on properly in a minute. That just again stops it going dry, but it does sense if there's water or no water. What I'll do is eventually put the lid back on the water butt, and then I can first feed these wires through here, through the holes, to make sure, first of all, the water doesn't evaporate as easily, or the debris doesn't fall in and then end up blocking the pump. That's why I keep the lid on, but then I can just put the wires or the tubes through these holes, and I can help position them. Obviously, I don't want to trap that in, so I've got to come through that hole. As this tube goes into the greenhouse, this is just the anti-siphon device. As long as this is higher than where the water is coming out at the other end, then this will just stop the water going back up the tube when it switches off. Clever little design. I'm just going to follow this through. Okay, so this is where it goes into the greenhouse. Luckily, I've got a little bit of a gap here, and I've just been able to thread that tubing through. So let's go inside and have a little look. Okay, hopefully you can see the fact that it's just coming through that gap on the other side. This is where it feeds in. Let me show you how the rest of them are meant to go. Each one has its own little stake. You can see that staked in the ground, and then that goes into the soil, just keeping our little dripper hovering above, so that when it does drip, it's going to drip directly onto the roots of, in this occasion, the tomato plant. It's going to drip directly onto the soil, making sure that you don't waste water and it doesn't go all over the plant, which obviously a wet plant inside a wet, humid greenhouse can really, really increase the chances of things like blight and other fungal diseases. Okay, so each one is connected. There's a little T connector, and then we go along to the next one. That just drips into that plant, and then each one of these, every single one, has got its own little dripper, its own connector, and we go all the way down, going through all the tomatoes, the melons, the cucumbers. Again, each one just with a little dripper at the bottom, so that it goes right into that root system. I've got it coming all the way around here. You get plenty of tubing, plenty to be able to go around all these plants. I've got it going over them all. There's some more going into these tomatoes. Okay, so that's the solar watering system from Irrigatia.com. Now I'm going to show you one from Biling that was gifted to me earlier this year. And I've got this one connected up to the Polytunnel. You just come round here. So this one, very similar. However, this one's got a separate solar panel that just then connects into the pump itself. So they are two separate devices, but they go next to each other. And then you've got your controls on here. You can set this to be once a day, twice a day. You can set how many minutes it goes off for. This is actually a bit more intuitive than the other one. So this is this one's from Biling. And again, same kind of idea though. You need a water source. That goes into the water to make sure we've got water. That's the sensor. There's our in pipe. So that's collecting water from the bottom, exactly the same as the Irrigatia idea. Comes up into the pump. We've got the in and the out again. We've got the anti-siphon device. All this exactly the same. And then I've just got this coming down and we go inside and underneath the polytunnel. Come inside and here's our tubing coming in. And I've just got this one connected up to my strawberries. This one works slightly differently. Each one is connected by a T connector there, and then a bit of tubing comes off and goes into these stakes. Water comes out of the pipe and comes right down here, and the benefit of this is you put this in the soil and this one actually waters deep down into the roots rather than just dripping onto the soil. So again though, same setup. Each of these strawberry plants has all been set up with its own dripper. Coming right along to the end one in there. Okay, so the pump is on. Let's just check if it's working. Here we are, there's our first dripper. Just see that in there. That's dripping right at the bottom. I can reposition that slightly. So you can move these where you want them. Best if they actually drip right at the roots. So that's actually positioned a bit better now. That's just going to drip there now for the next few minutes. This will come on every 3 hours at the moment. So it just targets dripping right at the base of the plant. Means that you don't water all the leaves and everything gets wet, which does increase the risk of mildew and blight and other bacterial and fungus infections. So it's going directly into the soil where the roots are. As I say, you can move that where you want it because here's the stake and that just balances it nicely. So just coming along, let's see, yeah, that's working nicely. Again, exactly the same idea there. Check a few more. There we go, dripping right into the soil. So I just need to go around, check them all now. Here's another one that's dripping nicely. Again, it just targets right at the base of the plant. You're not wasting water. It's also a nice consistent watering, meaning that the plant itself knows when it's going to get it. It's going to get a good few drips of water. I say a few drips. This is going to keep going for 3 to 5 minutes, and it'll get it every 3 hours, meaning that it's a nice, consistent watering system. If we go towards the back, let's just have a little check at the cucumbers. Okay, this cucumber's ready. Definitely ready to come off. I'll be taking that in a minute, but again, just dripping. That one's a bit slower. Just need to go around them all and make sure they are all connected properly and we've got no kinks in it. I'll say this did go back up. Here you can see this one in action. So if I take that out, you can see that's actually dripping right from the bottom of these little blue spike stake things. So that really gets the water into the roots. Just coming along. If I take this one out, also dripping nicely. It only goes on for 3 minutes, so you're not wasting water, and it's getting direct right at the bottom of these plants. You can just see it in there. In fact, I probably need to put that one on a bit stronger as it's just coming out the sides. But either way, it's dripping right down, and it means I don't now have to water directly onto the top of these plants because they're so compact I can't even get in to water the bottom of them. Again, that just helps reduce the chances and the risk of any kind of blight or fungal infection. You can see that one there. Don't even have to take it out, but if I do, you can see it's dripping on nicely. Really not long until my grapes are ready. Right, hope you've enjoyed that video and showing you two different types of solar watering systems. They are an absolute godsend to me. As I said before, if you do want to purchase one, I've put the links in the description below and pinned it to the comments section. They are, again, Amazon affiliate links, so I'll get a few pennies for every single purchase you make following that link. So hope you've enjoyed it. Hope it's been educational. Hope it saves you as much time as it does me. So thanks very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks everyone. Take care. Bye now.